So, um, Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke in Congress about what she thinks needs to be done about in order to stop mass shootings like the one in Uvalde. Um, let's hear what she has to say. I'm sure she has some interesting ideas.
From Georgia, Miss Greene.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. In 1990, our schools became gun-free school zones. And on September 6, 1990, when I was 16 years old, my high school went on lockdown because one of the students at my school brought 3 guns to school in a duffel bag on the school bus, brought the guns into our school, and proceeded to take control of our high school. And he was the only person in the school that had guns. That's why that happened. There was no one to protect us that had a gun that day. The only person with guns was the very mentally ill, upset teenager who had brought guns to school that day to kill other students. I know that fear. As a matter of fact, I think I'm the only member of Congress that's actually happened to. And I'm also a mom. I've dropped off my kids at school for years, wondering, would this happen at my children's school? Would they face a terrible fate like the poor children in Uvalde? This should never happen to our children. And I can't help but to point out to all of us here, while we're debating how to protect our kids in school and what we're debating about our Second Amendment gun rights, I want to point out that we're all so privileged to be in this building being protected by armed guards with guns who are protecting our lives. And I find it shocking to me that this body of Congress won't do the same thing for children all over America in schools, because we know one thing works. We know that a gun is a tool, and it's a weapon that can be used to defend yourself or defend others, and we're all lucky enough to have that privilege. But our school children aren't. If we really want to be serious about protecting our kids here in America, we'll repeal the Gun-Free School Zones Act, and we will put into action real legislation that protects children everywhere, all over America in school, with good guys with guns, the same way we're being protected.
We need to protect our, so there you have it. We need to protect our children by giving them all guns. No, the way that you deal with this, I mean, like, the problem is that these shooters, they are able to get guns so easily. That is the problem. Yeah, I mean, so how do you solve this problem? Like, universal background checks, mental, like, you invest in mental health care. I mean, if you're so worried about, if you're worried about, mental illness, like, then why don't you actually put funding into, like, mental illness? But Republicans don't do that, like, and Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't support that. Red flag laws, so that, like, if there are signs, if there are red flags that someone's gonna shoot someone, like, the government can take their gun away. Like, you're not gonna take away all guns. I mean, like, for example, like, in Canada, like, there's, a strict, like, vetting process. They talk to the friends and the families of the people who are interested in guns and ask them, does it make sense for this person to want a gun? Can this person be trusted with a gun? But no, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't support that. And, the reason Republicans do not support gun control measures is because they're bought by gun manufacturers and they're bought by the NRA. And what they hope is that, nothing gets passed, and, we just forget it. We just forget about the Uvalde shooting, and, and it's out of the news cycle, and then there's going to be another shooting. It's just going to keep happening forever. So there you have it.